Good day, welcome back. This is the next video in my series on World Chess Championship blunders, and we have moved on to the fourth World Championship match between Karpov and Kasparov, the one in 1987. Just quickly move across to the capture screen. You can see the information about this match on Wikipedia. Now, we left off last time. Karpov had lost his rematch in inverted commas, so he had to qualify again to play. But he was actually seeded right into basically what was a preliminary final in the AFL world, because he didn't have to play in the candidates or anything, and then he just effectively won the winner of the candidates, and all he had to do was beat that player and get back to challenge Kasparov again, which is what happened. Just flip down, you can see the normal sort of arrangement. They had interzonal tournaments, some fairly sort of famous names arriving on the scene: Yusupov, Belyavsky, Portish from the Tunis interzonal, the Taxco interzonal, Timon, Aguirre, Tal still around, Spragat, and the one in Biel, Europe, I guess, Virginian, Sirowan, Sokolov, and Nigel Short making an appearance. Obviously, he'll be back again, it's particularly 993. And then you have a candidates tournament, all these players. So in the first round, you have to qualify the top four, like Super 4, Yusupov, Virginian, Sokolov, Timon. They played a little playoff. And then the winner of all of that, Sokolov, then had to play Karpov. That's pretty tough on him, right? So he's played the interzonals, candidates quarters, candidates semis, and then Karpov comes in at the end and beats him fairly handily. So we get to the 1987 match. This is a quite interesting conclusion to this match. We'll go through the blunders, but actually look at the blunder in game 23. But I think it's very important. Let me just close that. We'll see what it is. You can see the top right chart there. Kasparov blundered in game 23, and then had to win on demand in game 24 to retain his title, which he did do by achieving a 12-12 score. So that was Kasparov's Everest, according to him, and a pretty amazing performance. Anyway, so you can see the profile there. We're going to look at three of these blunders: game 5, game 11, and as I said, the game 23 one. So let's have a look. I've got loaded up. Let me look if that's right. I've loaded up game 5 already, and we've got the position on the board, and we'll just play the white's next move. Okay, so now this is where the blunder is made. Black plays the blunder here. I'll play the move on the board. It's by Kasparov. He played rook to a1. Okay, well, unfortunately, I was going to ask you to spot what the blunder was there, and well, actually, that doesn't give it away. But you can see that what Kasparov is relying upon is that the rook is overworked. The white rook can't take the black rook because g4 would fall with mate. Have a look at this. This is just an easy tactical study. So when you've had a look at it, then you come back, see the winning move here. Queen takes g6 check, protecting the g4 pawn, and it's all over. Kasparov resigned. That was a very shocking blunder, to be honest. And you can see in the profile here, right? It was just draw, boom, one move, and now it's lost. So that was a bit unfortunate. Okay, that is game 5. Now just let me set up game number 11. Just play a couple of moves. This position, you look at the chart, bottom right, fairly balanced. Karpov's making a blunder here and losing the game, even from a slightly stronger position, because he's got a strong rook there. So black retreats his bishop and attacks the white bishop on c5, and white defends. It's a terrible blunder. Have a quick look at the position, see what you can make of it. And when you come back, you'll see that the problem with this is that the rook is kind of embarrassed of squares. So Kasparov played the winning move here, and as I've highlighted, the rook cannot hold the bishop anymore. Of course, the rook can always go back there, but then the bishop just drops. So basically what happened is that black has won the exchange, and you can see it's a fairly easy win from that position. I mean, white doesn't pass pawn, check, take the bishop moves, and now take the bishop again, bishop moves again, and move the knight. And actually that little maneuver sort of helped block the advance of the white pawn as well. Anyway, that was quite a simple blunder, that one. Just missed the fact that the rook couldn't hold on to the bishop and lost the exchange or a piece, whichever way he wanted to go. Okay, so now let's move on to the most interesting blunder in this match, which was game number 23, which is, as I said, was Kasparov blundered, was a game down, had to win the last game, won the last game, retained his title. Okay, so you can see the game profile once again, bottom right. Draw, 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 draw. Blunder by Kasparov. Now Karpov is winning. So what we show there is that a couple of moves which Black could have played. Bishop to b4, exchanging of bishops, or a5, advancing his a pawn. What he did play, this actually might be the first move or blunder which is needed a disambiguation. Rook 7 to f3. Okay, so what's the threat here? Kasparov, he got overexcited a bit here. He thought he found this amazing winning maneuver, which would have actually confirmed his world chess champion, but he made a mistake. So let's have a look at what he was thinking he was achieving. Well, actually, just have a look at the position, see what is wrong with this move. Okay, first of all, so take the rook off. Yeah, Pat sees the rook, takes the rook, and now follow. Okay, so we'll just quickly do. This is actually the key moment. Let's just quickly have a look. I mean, if you've solved yourself, there's one important maneuver here. What Kasparov was thinking is rook's protected, rook's attacking the queen, rook's attacking the pawn, the queen has to duck back, queen to e2, and now continuation would be something like rook takes h3 check, king to g2, check again. This is the key move. Rook g3 check, king to h2, and then now the killer here is a d3. Attacking the queen, pawn's protected by the rook, bishop's attacking the rook, which take with check. Right, so black's position just falls apart. That's really neat, really nice. Get all these things work. However, let's go back to this position. Even now, have a look. What other move does white have available? And it's the one which Karpov found. Actually, it's quite interesting because they all both look like, I saw a brief video clip, they both look like they were in sort of a quite bad time trouble. So, I know we were using the old analog ones, which is quite funny. Rook c7 check, that's the killer move. So, now, it doesn't really matter. King's got to go to back rank. And then now what? Yeah, of course, bishop h6. So, we're attacking black's queen. Black's queen has to hold the rook. Black's rook's attacking white's queen. But basically, black has already sacrificed a rook. So it's just game over. Game continuation. Rook takes d3. Bishop takes f8. Kasparov could have taken a bishop and been down an exchange. This pawn would advance the queen e-square pretty quickly, so that wasn't his plan. He actually tried a bit of a check. And if I took the rook, could possibly be in a bit of trouble getting back to defend. So take the bishop, advance the pawn, and that's the end of the game, actually, because obviously the bishop's going to be able to stop the pawn. Then black is just a piece down. So that was amazing. Actually, could have been a completely different sort of view of World Chess Championships if Karpov had held on in game 24 and got his title back. Anyway, not to be. So that's the three blunders we're looking at. They're quite interesting. They're all quite straightforward tactical blunders. I mean, hopefully you tried to solve them yourself as we went through on the video. And then what I'll do now is just quickly have a look. I've redone the tier list, and you'll notice what I've got is I've broken it up, given myself more tiers because they're getting too packed in. And so you got 6 stars, 5.5, 5, and so on. That's all good. And we can see I've added in a lot of the Karpov Kasparov ones. So you notice that I'm getting a bit more stringent on people's blunders. So you can see Karpov is here, and Karpov, Kasparov, Karpov's got a lot, Kasparov's got a few, Karpov's got a lot. And actually we did see in some of these matches where he did blunder, actually probably in the longer games. I think that was one, perhaps his weakness. He actually did tend to blunder when he was getting tired. Now, so what we've got is the blunder from the 1985 match, game number 11. Karpov had listed his rook to be attacked and taken by the white queen. And then this rook 7 to f3, that might get bumped up a little bit, but there's still quite a lot of good blunders on what is now a sort of a 5-star tier, which, we'll try to work out the top 10. A few of those will probably get promoted, but I think that gives you a good sense. We've got Chigorin's blunder. We've got Bronstein, where he messed up the knight endgame. Botvinnik's kind of self-mate stuff, where he missed a totally winning rook d2 in a very sort of messy attacking game. Korchnoi blundering mate in 2. And then Karpov's game. Okay, next time we'll be back with the blunders in the 1990 match, which will be the last and the fifth one between Kasparov and Karpov. Okay, hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching.